Coming up on today's Airborne, Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 is shot down. 295 crew and passengers are lost. Cloud sinking is introduced in ForeFlight Mobile 6.2.1. And NASA honors historic first moon landing as it eyes its first Mars mission. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale. It's been just shy of 31 years since the then Soviet Union ordered their Su-15 fighter to shoot down Korean airline Flight 007 near Manaran Island off the Russian coast. The decision to shoot down a clearly marked civilian Boeing 747 transport passenger airplane that had accidentally penetrated Russian airspace took the lives of 269 innocent people. Yesterday, the destruction of Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 Boeing 777 while flying over the Ukraine with reported 295 lives brings back the memories of those days 31 years ago. Details of the shootdown of the MH17 are changing rapidly, and very few things are known for sure. It appears that flight MH17 was on an approved flight path over the Ukraine when it was shot down. Early indications are that Russian-backed Ukrainian separatists may have pulled the trigger. However, there is not yet definite proof in this case. It can be accurately surmised that the missile system used had to be a high-technology, long-range system. Could it be that somewhere in Donetsk there is a SAM missile battery managed by a trained crew with a single person that pressed the fire switch? And do you think we'll ever know who that is? The FAA has now issued a NOTAM restricting U.S. flights from operating over eastern Ukraine. At the time of this broadcast, it appears that no one entity is actively in charge of a sanctioned crash site investigation. We'll keep you posted when we have some facts. Flying in the clouds is not a good idea for all pilots, but cloud-based syncing is a good deal for everyone. Cloud-based syncing has been introduced on the latest version of ForeFlight for iOS devices, allowing seamless transfers of information between an iPhone and iPad using the same login. According to ForeFlight, this capability allows users to plan a flight on an iPhone, and that flight will appear in the recent routes list on an iPad, or in a favorites list if the route is marked as a favorite. There's no special user interaction required as syncing is automatic. Sync seamlessly synchronizes recent and favorite routes, airports, weather imagery, and user waypoints across all devices that share the same ForeFlight mobile login. In addition, activity is protected and restored automatically when setting up a new device or if the app needs to be reinstalled. You're watching Airborne. We'll be back after these messages with more news and our feature of the day.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or our podcast, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. NASA marks the 45th anniversary of the first moon landing this month, while it takes the steps needed for America's next giant leap to send astronauts to Mars. The agency will commemorate Armstrong's one giant leap for mankind through a number of events across and above the United States during the next 2 weeks, as well as on the agency's website and NASA television. NASA's Apollo 11 crew landed on the moon July 20th, 1969. The world watched 45 years ago as astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set their lunar module Eagle down in the Sea of Tranquility, while crewmate Michael Collins orbited above in the command module Columbia. On July 21st, NASA will rename the center's Operation and Checkout Building in honor of Armstrong. Today, the facility is being used to process and assemble NASA's Orion spacecraft, which the agency will use to send astronauts to an asteroid in the 2020s and Mars in the 2030s. It's Friday at last, and that means it's time for ANN's CEO and Editor-in-Chief to check in with his weekly Barnstorming commentary. This week, Jim talks about the imminent arrival of EAA AirVenture Oshkosh 2014. Even though it's still more than a week away, the ANN crew is saddling up and getting ready to head out. If you can't be there yourself, let us bring AirVenture to you. Here's this week's Barnstorming.
Thanks, Ashley, and hi, folks. Well, hopefully by the time many of you see this, we're on our way to Oshkosh. We need to go out a week early, actually more than a week early, in order to prep our site, our building, which has been permanently put on site last year. And this year I've got the additional delight of going on out and doing my final inspection of my new book, picking up enough copies to distribute at Oshkosh, and getting that whole thing started. And of course, just a whole lot of other chores and tasks and interesting things that need to be done. This is a ritual on the ANN side that I've repeated about 20 times. And overall, this is over 40 years in one form or another that I've made the trek to Oshkosh since I was 16 years old. Pretty amazing. But Oshkosh is one of those amazing things. It is the bright spot of the sport and general aviation universe, and somewhat to the business and commercial aviation community as well, because, well, when there's something new and cool, it's got to show up at Oshkosh at least once to be validated. Good. But this year, like the last few years, there is this overwhelming sense of aviation needs to survive, but it's not doing so well. So we need to look at Oshkosh each year forward as an opportunity to find the best and brightest, to promote them and encourage them, to find the things that are certainly not the best and brightest and either fix them or cast them to the side, to look at the leadership of aviation, to inform them about what's important to us, and most important of all, to qualify them, to make them work hard for what they have to do to earn their right to speak for us all. And above and beyond all that, Oshkosh is the place where really cool stuff just happens to congregate. We've had a lot of early briefings on some interesting airplanes and avionics. I'm particularly enthused about a new aircraft design that'll be announced on Sunday. 3 initials, MVP, one of the coolest things I've seen in a while, but more important, backed up by people of integrity. Big deal there. You know why I think that is important. And there's more to it than that. I mean, we're going to see a lot of upgrades in avionics. Hopefully, Avidyne's IFD system will finally be certified in there. Garmin will probably have a few things to talk about. Our friends at Aspen, well, they're always raising the bar, so that's a good thing as well. And so many others. PS Engineering has just an intriguing little audio panel I can't wait to get my hands on. And there will be the headsets. There will be, of course, the ForeFlights, the WingXs, the iFlight planners, and so forth, just telling us that, man, with an iPad, you can do anything. Oshkosh is dreamland. Oshkosh is this amazing place. But let us not forget, most of all, that Oshkosh was the dream as originated by an amazing man. And this is the first year his little red bug won't be running around with him at the helm, saying hi to everybody and looking out on all that he created. Sad, but that's as life goes. I'd like to invite you all Tuesday night to Theater in the Woods. My friends from X Prize, Greg Meredek, Eric Lindbergh, Doug Shane, and so many others will be telling you about the 10th anniversary of X Prize. I've got a number of book signings scheduled. I will be publishing those early next week on the Aero-News site, and we'll also make sure that they get onto Airborne about midweek. And we've got our own announcements to make. Airborne's going 5 days a week this fall. But if you think that's the big news, you don't know us so well. Big news for Airborne. Big news for Aero-TV. Big news for ANN. And yeah, we're going places. Come with us. It's going to be a great ride. See you, all of you, please, at Oshkosh. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm on my way to Whitman Field.
Just in case you think a light sport aircraft is not a traveling machine, Edward Eddie McCallum of Long Framlington, England, would beg to differ with you. He touched down in Oshkosh last Friday morning after flying his flight design CT-SW Microlight there all the way from England. Eddie departed Wick, Scotland on June 11th and proceeded to Iceland, then Greenland, and over to Canada, and then on to the United States. His total flight time was about 55 hours, with the longest leg over water being between Scotland and Iceland, measuring 540 nautical miles. Despite the crossing of the Atlantic Ocean part of the trip, Eddie commented that he was very surprised at how wide Lake Michigan is, which he flew over before landing in Oshkosh. The airplane has a 7 to 8 hour range at 102 knots. He flew the Rotax 912S powered CTSW on premium auto fuel. You've gotta love the low fuel burn of the Rotax. Airborne's brought to you by some of the best sponsors in the aviation business. We'll be right back with more news.
ADS-B will be mandatory for most aircraft by 2020 in the United States, but you can benefit from ADS-B today with the Bendix King KT-74 Mode S transponder. The KT-74 meets the global mandates for ADS-B out when attached to a suitable WAAS GPS. Finally, the extraordinary story of the world-changing X-Prize space competition is being told and illustrated with hundreds of insider photos in Jim Campbell's colorful new book, Beyond the Blue. Journey with Jim as he flies formation with spaceships, plays in zero gravity, prepares rocket racers, and documents the amazing first decade of the personal space race. Available this summer. Get your advance order in now by checking out www.kindredspirit.com.
Welcome back. Private venture space flights gain momentum as the FAA approved a SpaceX spaceport on the South Texas coast. The approval allows SpaceX to conduct up to 12 launches per year of the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy orbital vertical launch vehicles, and a variety of reusable suborbital launch vehicles from an exclusive use launch site on privately owned property in Cameron County, Texas. Of the 12 yearly launches approved for the spaceport, only 2 could utilize the company's Falcon Heavy boosters. The total also includes any suborbital flights employing reusable rockets, which would seem to be a reference to the company's Grasshopper flights. Approved commercial payloads include satellites or experimental payloads and may carry a capsule, such as the SpaceX Dragon capsule. The turboprop market is alive and well in short-haul operations, and the Bombardier extra-capacity Q400 NextGen airplane is promising short-haul superiority while providing passengers with the amenities they expect in modern air travel. The extra-capacity version of the Q400 has just completed its first test flight, and Bombardier has placed some great video of the flight on YouTube. This flight brings the days closer when Knock Air, the launch customer for the extra-capacity option, will take delivery of this new version of the Q400 NextGen. The extra capacity option will allow their aircraft to accommodate up to 85 passengers and offer an advantage of up to 7% fuel burn per seat, as well as an overall operating seat cost advantage of up to 17% compared to its closest turboprop competitor. Well, that's our program. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories at Aero-News.net. Remember, Airborne is streamed 3 times a week and is always online. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a new edition. And by the way, there are now only 9 more days to go until Oshkosh. And of course, ANN will be there to bring you the most comprehensive coverage in the business. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.